In 2022, 1.5 billion people tuned in to watch Lionel Messi win the first World Cup of his career. With it, he now has completed football. He now has a record 8 Ballon d'Ors, 4 Champions Leagues, and 10 La Liga titles to his name, making up a trophy cabinet bigger than any footballer on the planet. Rewind to the year 2000. The Argentinian was just 13 years old and had nothing but a growing reputation as a prodigy. FC Barcelona had flown him over 6,000 miles to try out for their youth academy. Messi's life now depended on what he could achieve on the pitch. This is the story of Lionel Messi and how an Argentinian wonder kid proved everyone wrong to become the greatest player of all time. Lionel Messi was born in the industrial city of Rosario, Santa Fe, the northeast part of Argentina. He was introduced to football by the rest of his family and soon picked up the sport himself. His talent for the game was not lost on his local team, Newell's Old Boys, which he joined at 6 years old. Leo led the youth team to an era of complete dominance. Though surrounded by talented players, Leo was clearly a prodigious talent of a different caliber, destined for greatness. At his club, Newell's, his coach Gabriel Di Gallarmo agreed that Messi was the most talented boy he had ever seen. That's when an offer came in from a different continent, far away from his hometown. Leo competed in a trial at FC Barcelona in 2000, immediately winning over the commitment of management, where Charlie Rexach was so sure of Leo's value that he offered up a contract signed on a napkin. It was a club of superstars. It was anything but a smooth landing, though. Restriction from his Newell's Old Boys contract, as well as a number of injuries, sidelined Leo for much of his first season. His family was not adapting well either. His mother and siblings moved back to Argentina while Leo stayed with his father Jorge. Homesickness, isolation, and a lack of confidence were washed away in 2002 when he officially started with the Royal Spanish Football Federation as part of La Masia, Barcelona's youth academy. As part of the class of '87, he was playing alongside Cesc Fabregas and Gerard Pique. Together, the team won anything and everything, by far becoming Barcelona's greatest youth team ever. In 2004, one step away from joining the senior team, Gerard Pique signed for Manchester United, while Fabregas left for Arsenal. Lionel Messi stayed loyal to Barcelona. Barely 16 years old in 2003, Messi was substituted in the last 15 minutes of a friendly match against Porto. He immediately created chances and had a noticeable impact on the game. Superstar Brazilian player Ronaldinho was thoroughly impressed, apparently commenting that Messi would develop into a stronger player than him. This was high praise from the team's #1 man. He was soon offered a contract that included a buyout clause of what would be worth over $125 million today. But it wasn't until 2005 that he became a regular fixture of the first senior team. After a match against Juventus, the club offered to loan him from Barcelona, topped by Inter Milan, who was willing to pay his buyout clause, which had risen to what would now be almost $250 million. Messi's relatively small figure, nimble footwork, and agility on the ball drew an obvious comparison with fellow Argentinian legend Diego Maradona. Messi was quickly becoming the clear future of Barcelona. Once again, in the face of lucrative and exciting opportunities, Messi didn't budge. He was happy to stay at Barcelona, was rewarded with a place on the starting 11, and got to work, scoring 8 goals in the space of 25 games. Barcelona won the Champions League that year, but Messi missed out on the final after a torn hamstring. Bitterly disappointed, Messi only became better, crystallizing as Barcelona's #1 man. He inherited the number 10 shirt from Ronaldinho and led the club to win La Liga, the Copa del Rey, and the Champions League. Throughout the 2008 to 2009 season, he scored a staggering 100 goals across all competitions, enough to earn him his first Ballon d'Or, the highest individual achievement in football. He earned the nickname of the Messiah among the Barca fan base. Perhaps just as importantly, his time in Spain saw him face down his greatest rival, Cristiano Ronaldo, his counterpart at Real Madrid. The two Titans were nearly equally matched, serving as top scorers for their teams and competing each year for the La Liga title, the El Clasico rivalry, and the Ballon d'Or trophy. Unfortunately for Ronaldo, Messi's form rarely faltered. By 2012, Messi had reached the peak of his abilities, scoring 79 goals for Barcelona plus 12 for Argentina, making it 91 across all competitions. In total, Barcelona won La Liga 10 times, Copa del Rey 7 times, and the Champions League 4 times during his time there. One key to Barcelona's success was Messi's positional change. He'd been changed from a winger to a false nine, which was a tactic used by Pep Guardiola. He would begin in a forward position, but regularly drop back to receive the ball in the middle of the pitch, aiming to draw defenders away from their position. By 2021, an internal crisis had engulfed Barcelona, making it impossible to keep Messi on the payroll. A year earlier, Messi had officially requested to leave the club, but Barcelona hadn't allowed him to. This time was the opposite. He wanted to stay. Messi had even agreed to a 50% pay cut to try and make it happen. La Liga was offering an exchange of 10% of Barcelona's domestic TV rights to help finance the operation, but Barcelona management refused. In a televised farewell speech, he thanked the club for what they had done and said goodbye, fighting through tears. It brought to an end a 20-year relationship with the club that raised him through the youth ranks and gave him the stage to crown himself as one of the greatest of all time. Messi was transferred to Paris Saint-Germain, which he reunited with ex-teammate Neymar Jr. and linked up with young superstar Kylian Mbappe. Initially struggling to adjust, Messi scored 32 times over 2 seasons as he began to find his form again. But PSG fans had turned on him, siding with Mbappe in what was seen as a feud between the two. This tension only worsened after Messi won the 2022 World Cup for Argentina, defeating France in the finals in a nail-biting 3-3 match that ended in penalties. It was the final trophy missing from Messi's collection. For years, though, the illustrious World Cup had eluded Messi. A fractured relationship with then-coach Diego Maradona didn't help Argentina at the 2010 World Cup, where they were knocked out in the quarterfinals. Messi came even closer in 2014 when they lost 1-0 to Germany, conceding with just 7 minutes to go in extra time. Losing the Copa America 1 year later appeared to signal the end of his international career. But a rejuvenated Argentinian squad pushed one last time to give their star player the ultimate reward in what was likely his final World Cup. With it, many argue that he had cemented himself as the greatest of all time, finally putting himself a level higher than Cristiano Ronaldo. In June of 2023, Messi made another shocking move, this time to join David Beckham's MLS club Inter Miami. He brought the American League worldwide attention, attracting former teammates Sergio Busquets and Jordi Alba to play alongside him, and leading the team to the first trophy in their history. Messi's stock has never been higher. He broke the $1 billion mark for career earnings in 2020 and earned over $100 million in a single year. But plagued by injuries and an aging body, though, it looks like the end is near for Lionel Messi's career. As a mark of respect, Inter Miami has promised to allow him to play one more time for Barcelona if the two clubs can come to an agreement. It would be a fitting end to the Lionel Messi fairy tale, one marked by triumph, history, and a heartbreaking departure from a team whose destiny was intertwined for 2 decades.